Hello everybody, this is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, it is the iPhone 15 special. Alright, today is Thursday, 14 September. The iPhone 15 was launched yesterday, on Wednesday. And I don't know, what are the reactions? I think it's a big deal because there's a big change in terms of how the iPhone is gonna... There's no more lightning.
Yep.
And that's pretty much
that's all for the show.
All right,
no, let's get it.
Okay, maybe Alex can. I mean, you stayed up, you watched the launch. We can see from our website, from the data, that actually it's quite different because a lot of people are quite hyped up about the iPhone. A lot of people wanted to know what's going on. This is a big contrast from last year, I guess, when people always think that iPhone events are big, but sometimes I don't know, it felt like last year people just didn't want to upgrade phones. It felt like people just didn't want to buy phones, and it's kind of the same with the iPhone. But this year there seems to be a lot of excitement with the iPhone 15.
Yep.
So what should people be excited about? You watched the launch. Maybe you can just give us a rundown of what was talked about, what was launched, and what do you think?
All right, I think first things first is that I think you have two sides of the story. Some people say that, it's the same phone, it looks the same, nothing has changed. But I think there's a lot of new things, particularly, like you mentioned, the way it charges. So obviously due to the pressure from the EU.
Thank you, EU.
Thank you, EU.
Yeah, I think it's a good... Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the new iPhones have ditched the lightning connector. So now they're all using USBCs. And that means you can use the same cable that you use to charge your MacBook, the new iPad, to charge your new iPhone 15 and 15 Pros. So I think it's a good thing. Yeah. And what's more interesting is the way they presented it. Because people see the previous iPhone when they announced the lightning connector, right? It's like such like a groundbreaking.
Yeah, they invented a new cable.
Yeah, which is you can charge reversible. So this time the way they announced it is like, as USB-C is getting more universally accepted, the new iPhone has USB-C. Yay! So now you can use the same cable as your Mac to charge your new iPhone, and you also can do the same for the new updated AirPods Pro 2nd Gen that now comes with USB-C at the case.
In terms of when you say it's updated, it's just it just accepts USB-C lah.
Yeah, so basically lightning the port at the bottom there, you just change to USB-C.
Everything else is the same.
But based on the specs that we go through, which we cover on our site, is that they actually improved the dust and water resistance. So now it's IP54, no mistaken. So it has better dust resistance than before.
Slight update.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So charging is the port has changed, but in terms of charging speed, unchanged, still the same, 20 watts. So still USB-C PD, 20 watts. So
transfer rate is the same.
Transfer rate for the 15 Plus is the same. It's still based on USB 2.0. So you can transfer up to 480 megabits per second. But the Pro and the Pro Max, there's a big deal because of the new processor, the new chips. So the new iPhone 15 Pro runs on A17, not Bionic, A17 Pro chip. And is based on a 3 nanometer.
Wow.
So this is a huge upgrade.
That is, the last one was 4.
Yeah, and so this is actually more advanced. 3 is actually more advanced than Qualcomm, which I think Qualcomm going to announce a new one, Agent 3.
So like a smaller like a thinner processor is better.
More compact, more dense. So everything's more close by, more efficient.
You can pack more in the same amount of space, meaning that you have more computing power.
Yeah.
So going 3 nanometer is a huge deal.
Especially for gaming, because this one also boasts hardware-based ray tracing.
Okay. Before we go into all these details, right? Maybe you want to talk about like how many iPhone 15s are there?
There are 4. So there's same as last year. 15, 15 Plus, 15 Plus basically a cheaper big screen, and then you have Pro, 15 Pro, and then 15 Pro Max. So similar lah, like
similar range.
Yeah, like 6. You got the normal you 6.1 inch or 6.7 inch. For the Pro, you got 6.1 inch, 6.7 inch. Same thing as well like last year.
For the non-Pro versions, I think the biggest news is it's just using USB-C and Dynamic Island. Other than that, I don't think there's much change. Even the processor is using the previous gen Pro processors.
Yes, A16 Bionic. But they've upgraded the camera. So all the while, I think for quite a while since iPhone 6s, Apple's been using 12 megapixel sensors for the main camera. This time it gets 48 megapixel sensor.
Wow.
And And during the launch,
48 across for all three,
only
two
the
cameras.
Only the
or
main.
only one. Okay, so the other one is
ultra wide is still 12.
Yeah.
So the 48 megapixel camera, right? And then they also introduced during the launch they said that this offers optical quality 2 times telephoto from the main camera.
What is optical quality?
So essentially what they do is because of the higher resolution, I can capture more details.
Yep.
So essentially, it's sensor cropping lah.
Yes, and I think I'm assuming, I don't know, we don't have the phones yet, but I'm assuming it's using all the technology that other phones are already using. So 48 megapixels maybe allow it to also pixel bin. Maybe they didn't mention it.
It is pixel bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they combine the nearby pixels for clarity.
Yep. So nothing groundbreaking, but I will have
updates.
I will have to say this: Apple has like a good way of optimizing current available technology and making it look groundbreaking. The way they marry the software and the hardware into this device is, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but I'm not, but I think they got that right.
I can hear people from the other camera shouting, "Hey, Android's done it for you ages."
Yes, I agree. They've done it for a long time, and they try new things really quickly. But the problem is, it seems like they don't really understand how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody comes and say, "Hey, bro, we got a 100 megapixel sensor. You want to put it on your phone? Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
Then how to use it? I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
So iPhone is good at doing that. So we come back to the 15, right? So the non-pro versions, pretty much nothing. I mean, it's a good upgrade.
Yep.
But nothing groundbreaking to shout about. Anything else?
I think this upgrades like the dynamic island. So basically, no more notch dead with dynamic island, and also the 48 megapixel camera and USB-C. I think these three are quite compelling. I think the upgrade from 14 to 15 is more significant than 13 to 14. So this is quite a huge jump.
Yeah.
But for me, if you ask me if you're using 14 plus, that's more than enough. It's good enough for now. If you're using an older phone like 12, I think 15 is a good option to consider if you're looking for a new iPhone.
It's interesting that you brought that point because the 14 non-pro version is also available from Apple.
Yes, it's still available.
So you can buy it at a cheaper price.
Yeah.
So that is going to be. There is some degree of cannibalizing because people are gonna think, and then they're gonna like, maybe I'll just pay a little bit more and get the 15 rather than the 14, and I would think that would be like the better buy. So if you're asking us, hey, would I get a cheaper iPhone 14 new, or should I go to the 15? I think you and me will say go for the 15 because you get dynamic island, USB-C, 48 megapixel camera, and a better processor.
Yep. And also another thing about Apple is that their software support is excellent. I mean, nobody does software support as good as Apple. You get a phone 5 years down the line, it still works. You still get software updates. So if you can spend a little bit more and get an iPhone 15, you can be rest assured that it still works 4-5 years down the line, provided you get a good case. Like, don't throw things around. But the software support is there. Apple will back the software.
I
updates.
guess you can vouch for the software support because you're using a 11.
Yeah, I'm still using an iPhone 11 Pro Max. There's no 5G, by the way.
And
it still works. It still get updates.
And there's no problems, right?
I mean,
any issues with it? The screen is wearing off lah. I mean, that's normal for all iPhones.
That's the surface. The screen is okay. Just that the surface.
The oleophobic coating.
Yes.
You can see lah. If you put water, you can see there's a big
like
area where you keep swiping.
Yes.
That thing will wear off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Everything else is good. I mean, of course, the battery is a bit shorter. I think my battery health is about 80% now or 70%, which is still okay for me. But overall, the rest is great. The screen is great. The cameras are great.
It's a 5-year-old phone, isn't it?
Yeah, almost there.
And you're charging like every day,
Yes,
overnight.
Yeah.
And it's 84%.
I think about 70-80% around there. It's not full, but it's still great.
Yeah.
And I still can get software updates. So that's testament that Apple still backs it up. So if you're getting iPhone, I think it's a worthy investment. So let's say you look for a phone like cost 4,000 ringgit, right? I think nothing else is as reliable as Apple. I hate admitting, but nothing comes close.
Okay, I wanted to say this. To be fair, I'm using a Galaxy Fold 2, which is maybe 4 years
4 years,
old.
yeah.
And it's still okay, and I still get updates. I get like all the new features that's available on the Fold 5 in the 2. And I would say the reliability for flagship Samsungs and Apple phones are around the same level in terms of software upgrades, battery capability. I know there are some Samsung users that would differ because the battery consumption. But I think that's down to them not being able to control the ecosystem. So they're running Snapdragon processor, which takes in a lot more power, but gives you that performance. Okay, so that's another discussion altogether. But to your point, if you want a long-lasting phone, iPhone is the way to go.
Yeah, and then if let's say you want to save money, let's say we talk about the 14 and 14 Plus, because those are still pretty good phones. You want to get it during the sales, because the sales, right, you can get huge discount like $850. So in fact, after they launched the 15, Apple naturally
did another sale.
No, they did a price cut. Obviously, there's a price cut, but the price cut, right, is still higher than what we saw during the sales, during like 99, 88, 77. So you're looking for iPhone, look for those online sales on Lazada, Shopee, for the official stores, from the authorized resellers like Machines, IT World, Switch, and all that. They can offer very good discounts. So look out for those deals, especially if you're looking for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, because those phones have been officially discontinued. You're looking for a good deal, I think try to snap it up during the last few remaining online sales in the
10,
coming
10,
months.
11, 11,
and
12,
payday,
12.
And payday. So I think on the 25th of every month, they also do the kind of sales.
Yeah.
Because the last one we saw, they give discount like, I think, almost 1,300 ringgit off the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And that's before the iPhone 15 Pro was launched.
Yeah.
So that's a huge discount. So look out for those deals.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it, right? It seems like Apple is doing sales every other month.
Yep.
This year, they did sales like regularly.
Yep.
And we were saying, because we talked about like people are not buying devices, so it seems like they're not shipping or they're not selling the Pros as fast as they'd like, but they still have to introduce the new ones.
Yep.
So Switch was doing sale, Machine, Sanghang, everybody was doing sales. So it's now is a good time to buy. The only iPhone that I think is not good to buy is the SE. Right now, because SE as new is still available,
and they didn't change the price. It's still like 2,249 ringgit
for
the base model.
The base model iPhone SE. That is like that's a 5-year-old phone.
It's essentially an iPhone 8 with the processor of the iPhone 13, no mistaken. Yeah, but come on, for that price, the screen is tiny, the battery is tiny. Let's discontinue.
I don't know why people buy it. I don't know. I mean, if you are looking for an iPhone and you are on a budget, like Alex say, wait for the sale. You might be able to get good price for an X stock 14 Pro, which I think is a good buy.
Yeah, even if you're tight budget, right? I think try look out for the iPhone 12s. I think that would be better buy because you get better screen, better camera, better battery.
Okay, better camera. Okay, but iPhone 12 is banned
in France only. they're going to be banned. Or get the mini. Yeah, if you can find one. Because there's no more mini. By the way, there's no more mini. The Apple killed the mini.
Yeah.
So initially, last time you can get iPhone 13 mini. Now you can't get anymore. So you only get 6.1 inch or 6.7 inch.
Yeah. But my pick would be get an X Stock Pro, whether it's Pro or Pro Max. I think that's the best buy if you can have a budget and get that, because you get the dynamic island, camera, performance, everything, and
120 Hz screen.
In fact, I would say like I can't say that because jumping from a 14 Pro to a 15 Pro is different because they have the A17
Pro chip,
which has a smaller processor, smaller what's it called?
More dense,
nanometer thing, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would still say the 14 Pro is great.
Yep.
So if you can, my pick would be that.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to the 15. So we covered the non-pro versions. Anything else you want to highlight in the non-pro versions?
I think, speaking of color, so as usual, Apple always introduce a lot of vibrant colors for the 15, 15 Plus. And this time, right, if you see the photo, there's one commenter who comment on our post saying that, hey, I see the white color version, but I can't find it on the online store. Well, that white iPhone 15.
The white-looking iPhone 15
is actually blue. And actually, I don't know what's up with Apple. If you look at the iPhone 12, 13, 14, and 15, right? You look at the blue color option, right? It's getting lighter and lighter. The 15 iPhone 12 blue color was so vibrant, so dark blue.
Yeah.
It's getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and now it looks like white.
Yeah, they're making it eco-friendly, using less paint.
But it's so white that I don't know. I think Apple needs to change the toner or something. They ran out of ink for blue color.
Speaking of colors, right?
Yep.
Do you think Apple will introduce a special edition color, because if you remember,
Yes.
yellow came later,
And also have purple as well.
and they didn't show these two colors before.
Yep.
So I think for them to drive sales, right, introducing this limited edition special colors later would number one, get people talking about the iPhone again, maybe 3-6 months down the line.
Yep.
Number two, get people to buy these versions, because I think the yellow iPhone 14 is really nice.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite colors was I think it's iPhone 13 or iPhone 12, the purple color. But somehow the actual colors in hand, right, is not as vibrant as the one you show in the product features.
Of course lah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they'll come out like maybe 6 months down the line to just refresh to create that excitement again. Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to the 15 Pro and Pro Max version.
Oh, that's a big one. So, and on the surface, it looks like, it looks the same thing. You know, you have the dynamic island, you have the triple camera setup behind. But the biggest change is it uses titanium right now. So, it uses a titanium frame. So, that makes the phone lighter. So, in fact, they say this is the lightest.
How much lighter?
Pro.
Is it a lot more lighter?
A couple of grams.
It's stainless steel before versus titanium now.
So what I heard, what I noticed that they're using titanium, so it looks like a bit like brushed metal. It kind of gave me like the the old HTC One vibes. It looks like that because it looks like brushed metal. You can see it, and also because of this new, and besides having this new material, they actually made the bezels much thinner. Yeah, so it looks more refined. And in terms of colors, well, you can pick any color as long as a shade of grey. Because they have 4 options: natural titanium, blue titanium, white titanium, or black titanium.
Basically, all the colors are titanium lah.
Yeah, all titanium. So
Man, titanium is so sexy.
it looks.
I go gaga over the word titanium. So having a titanium phone, is this the first time a phone maker makes a titanium phone? I know
I'm not
carbon
sure.
fiber
Yep.
exists. I feel like Virtu maybe has something, but they're
Probably.
dead now.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't think they're the first, but in terms of making it mainstream on a mainstream phone, I guess maybe they could be the first. But the way I look at it, it looks metal to me. It looks kind of like
Titanium
HTC.
is metal.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the way the treatment, the looks, right? It looks like the HTC One series, like HTC M8 that has the brushed metal look.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not titanium enough. I mean, titanium has a color.
Yeah. So this so this one has 4 colors.
It's like the color is titanium lah. It's like gunmetal gray.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
something
So
like
there are
that.
4 shades.
So titanium is a version, or all the Pro and Pro Max now have titanium frames.
Yeah, titanium frames.
So it's not a version lah.
It's titanium design across the
So
range.
all of them are
Yes,
titanium.
the
So
Pro,
if you
Pro
get a
Max,
Pro or Pro
Pro
Max,
Max,
it's all
yes.
titanium frame.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, of course
Wow.
the back is still glass, but the frame is titanium. So during the presentation, you can see a lot of emphasis on the edges and all that.
Yeah.
As usual, they say, how many 100 man hours to create this?
Yeah, whatever lah.
Yeah, same thing. But
Throw away all the marketing fluff. That's what we do. So that's why Alex stayed up, watched the whole presentation. How long was the presentation?
I think 1 hour and a half, because they introduced not just these devices, but also introduced
The watches.
and the new AirPods.
And-
AirPods is
and-
briefly
And then also the fluffing ma.
Yeah.
They have to spend like 15 minutes of like, oh, last year we did this, we did that,
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw away all the fluff and give you guys this. All right, now back to the 15 Pro and Pro Max.
Another
Titanium
one.
frame?
Yes.
Mm.
And they killed the iconic mute silence feature at the sides.
The rocker switch.
Yes, there has been a staple feature on old iPhones since the first one. So they don't have the switch anymore. Instead, they introduced a new button called the action button.
Okay, to be clear, the non-Pro versions still have the rocker.
Yes, only the Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
So-
do that because it's weird. Okay, I'm betting, right, if you want that button next year when you get the iPhone 16 non-Pro versions will get the button because Apple like to recycle.
And not just that, I think they just want to put one step behind. If you're not getting a Pro, wait for the next one. So like we've seen from
Punish you for being cheap.
so we've seen it for the processor, we've seen it for the dynamic island. Now we're going to see this for this.
Yeah, you're not gonna get the cutting edge because you're not paying for the Pro. But
Yep.
if you wait next year,
You might get it. Yeah, you might get it.
We're gonna bring it to the 16 non-Pro version so
Yes.
that you poor people can afford it.
Yeah, so action button. So basically it's a single button that you can customize not just for the toggle of the mute and ringer, but also can use it to launch camera, to on the torchlight, and to do other things. So essentially, some people say, so basically it's a Bixby button lah. It is, right? I mean, you can customize the button, which other manufacturers have done before.
I don't know whether that is useful though. I think, right, what they learn or they planned it, because I remember there was this one time when people was what was going viral was people was teaching everybody how to program the iPhone that you can tap and then it can do something, right? So people were doing that lah. I mean, I'm not doing it, so you can tap to turn on your flashlight lah, camera lah, what lah. So now they're saying, hey, because people are using that as a feature, let's make that into a button.
Yes.
I think that's what they're doing.
Maybe. And also,
it feels like it.
But some people might say, oh, they feel this mean. Hey, how could they remove an iconic feature? Like, remember OnePlus? They also have like a similar switch, but it's like a rocker. You can do like
a hardware physical switch that you actually have to flip rather than tap and stuff.
And then 1 year, OnePlus removed that feature, and then all the fans were
up in arms.
Yeah, it's like, what's this? And then they brought it back the next one.
Well, I don't think the fans are going to be pissed off with this, because, we talked about it before the iPhone 15 launch. The only time I flicked that rocker switch was when I set up my iPhone, because I flick it to red. That's all. Then it doesn't flip back.
My switch is also perpetually like always
in red.
Yeah, all the time. So which in a way is good, because instead of having that permanently on and not doing anything else, you can use it to customize something else. Okay,
I want to ask you this. I know you haven't tried the iPhone, right? And I mean the 15. We haven't gotten it yet. It's not yet available in Malaysia. But do you think the button is useful?
Well, time will
tell. I think people. Would you program it for something?
Yes, I'll probably program for a torchlight. But I use the torchlight a lot, that you need to press on the main screen.
Yeah, you just have to tap and hold.
Yeah, you need to tap first and press and hold.
But if you have a
switch, it's even easier. You don't need to wake the screen. You can turn it on immediately.
I guess.
Because I used to have that feature on a very old LG phone back then, a very old flip phone. Sorry, a 3G phone, a flip phone, which there's a shortcut, you just press a hold button on the flashlight.
But do you use the flashlight a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a nifty feature. And also you can use it to enable shortcuts to run a series of tasks. You can do that as well. So it's customizable up to your usage.
Yeah, I tried to run the shortcut thing. I forgot what it's called. So Apple has the
shortcuts,
like Bixby. It's like Bixby.
Yeah.
But Bixby you can program so much more.
Yep.
With the iPhone, it's limited to what app can support it.
The apps must be on must use the same API.
Yeah, so for me what sucks is when I wanna go into my car and when I plug into my iPhone into my car, I want Waze and Spotify to activate automatically.
Yep.
I can only get Spotify. Waze is not supported in the shortcut. So that sucks. I'm not gonna arrive.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about titanium. We talked about the button. There were talks about telephoto, a periscope camera.
Yeah, the cameras are a huge deal for the iPhone 15 Pro. So firstly, the main camera is still 48 megapixel, but uses a larger sensor. And because of the larger sensor and what they have claimed to have done with the iPhone 15, they claim that with the iPhone 15 Pro, you can get it's like having 7 different lenses in one. So the main camera, right, with large sensor, right? So the main camera, right, they say they can offer like 3 different focal length: 24mm, 28mm, and 35mm. So we know sensor cropping
that's like tapping 1, 2, 4, 10, right?
Yeah, like that, correct. But so it gives the impression that you have different cameras. So at least one thing is still sharp. Because like we discussed about this on the 15, right? Like all iPhones before that, you can do zoom, but it's digital zoom. But this is optical quality because of the sensor cropping. Yeah, sensor cropping. So
how big is the sensor? Is it 1 inch now?
Apple never announced
They don't say.
So you need to wait until they tear down or reviews from DP reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a larger sensor, and the biggest change is the telephoto, like you mentioned. So, unlike other manufacturers that uses a periscope, and you can see there's periscope when you see the camera lens is square, right?
Yes, rectangular,
right? For iPhone, they do something different. It's kind of like periscope, but it's different because it doesn't have a large barrel. So they're calling it what they had is something they call the tetra prism. So basically, when you take a picture, right, the lens actually bounces 4 times. So it actually looks similar like
it's like
barrel,
a periscope,
but it's different. It's much flatter. So you have like a prism that's actually more stacked up, and then the sensor is actually here at the bottom. So it's like the same angle. It doesn't bounce like this. So imagine periscope for traditional like Samsung or Oppo's, right?
Okay, so
it's like a huge barrel.
How does a periscope camera work?
Imagine like submarine. You know the periscope submarine?
Yes.
So normal telephoto for Android phones, they look like the submarine periscope. So basically, it's like
So there's we're trying to explain to you guys. So there's two prisms, one front and one back.
yeah. So one receives the light,
and then the light comes in, goes into the prism,
reflect, and then go to the
goes
sensor.
into the other prism.
Yep.
So the periscoping works when you move the prism back and forth, right?
No, it doesn't move. It's fixed. There are a couple of periscope zooms. Some are fixed, some are moving. I think only Sony does the moving.
So so the iPhone one doesn't do that.
So iPhone 1 is a much compact solution.
In principle, it's the same, right? They still use prisms,
but it's much
to bounce the light.
Yes, but this is much flatter. So don't have,
Why is that better?
because it saves space. It's more compact.
So you don't get an ugly camera bump. Because if you notice, a lot of phones with periscope lens, the camera bump is like
Huge.
that thick.
because of the barrel. So Apple uses a different implementation. So you look at if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the how it's being stacked up. So it's a much slimmer implementation. And as a result, even the camera lens, right, is not rectangular, it's round.
Wow.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. I mean, okay, I guess aesthetically, I
think-
still prefer round lenses than square rectangle ones.
Yeah, in terms of aesthetic, it looks nicer. And then one thing is it's not as bulky as other pro models of smartphones like on Androids.
Yeah.
But of course, whether is this better than a typical barrel implementation is yet to be seen. We need to compare that in the comparison.
Yeah, so for me, one of the best camera phones I've ever tested is the Oppo Find X6 Pro. Unfortunately, it's not available in Malaysia.
Yeah.
But we have it. And it uses a periscope lens and it uses like a huge sensor. And the camera bump is like really thick.
Yes.
To a point that it's so imposing. Maybe Oppo designed it that way because if you hold it horizontally, it looks like you're holding a camera.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. The point what I'm trying to make is that has the best camera.
And then the bokeh effect is awesome.
Natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like
artificial.
It doesn't look like it's artificial. I would really want to compare that with what Apple is doing. The other benefit of periscope lenses is that you can zoom really, really far.
Yeah. And this one, the Pro Max, is 5 times optical zoom.
Okay, that's not really far though.
Yeah, but that's why I'm looking at how's the quality like. I want to see the result of this.
I wonder.
Yes.
Because I know also Apple, right? They don't mention everything during the presentation. A lot of things that when you start trying the device, you start discovering new things.
Correct.
So I'm wondering whether they also have like a mode to capture moon pictures. Because all of the flagship phones now have that. First, Huawei started with it.
Yes.
And then now I think even Samsung has it.
Yep.
And they're getting better at it.
Yep.
So with Periscope, with AI, which is in the iPhone 15 and 14 and all that, maybe that could be something we can discover.
Yep. But again, similar to the iPhone 13 Pro series, this Periscope, we just call it Periscope, Periscope implementation is only available on Max. So the non-Max, the smaller one, the smaller Pro, you get the same as the previous one, 3 times optical zoom.
Triple camera setup.
Yeah, but 3 times optical zoom for the telephoto.
Not 48 megapixel. The lens, the sensor.
The sensor, the main sensor is 48.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for the zoom.
Yeah.
For the telephoto.
For the telephoto is still 12. Both are still 12.
Even the sensor is the same.
Sorry?
Like the sensor size and everything, it's all the same?
They didn't mention what's the sensor size again. But I just assume it's the same size.
Yep.
But basically the Periscope implementation is only available on the Pro Max. So the non-Max, you still get the standard 3 times optical zoom. I think we already mentioned details. So because of the new A17 Pro, right, this is said to be probably the best gaming smartphone ever. Because
why is it the best? I mean
okay, listen up. Because this has
Android has been making gaming phones and it comes with like external coolers, RGB lighting. RGB lighting is not for me, but when you want to go gaming, a lot of the mobile gamers they prefer going with Android.
Yep.
So why is this the best? Because
desktop gaming performance. Because
that's what they're saying.
Yeah, okay. Listen up. This has hardware-accelerated ray tracing for the A17 Pro, and of course, some say, Android like the Qualcomm ARM, they have that as well. But difference is, ARM has a technology. Qualcomm has tried to do it. Media has tried to do it, but you can't find any games doing it because there's no support from the developers.
So does this one have support from the developer?
Yes, during the event they showcased a couple of games that do support ray tracing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other games? Mobile Legend.
Huh? Not mobile, not Mobile Legend. I need to pull out. I'm not very familiar with this one.
I mean, the thing is, right? A lot of the Android gaming phones, they're developing the phones for the games that people play in the leagues, right? So one of them is Mobile Legends. Yep. I don't know what else people play. Sorry, I'm not a gamer, but I see a lot of the phone manufacturers, Android, are developing to make sure that the app that people play, the games that people play in the leagues, are optimized for their phones.
Yep.
So if it's like, I don't know, what game?
So the games that they showcase is like Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, Death Stranding, and these are very high demanding games, like basically desktop gaming level games on a mobile device. And normally the thing about this about games, right? Normally is you need the combination of the hardware and the software. So Qualcomm, MediaTek, they have the hardware, but they cannot get the developers on board. But with this chip, and also because Apple being Apple, they have
they control the ecosystem.
Yep. They can make it possible.
But Resident Evil is not a league game.
Yeah, of course not. It's like talk about like desktop gaming type of games. Yeah.
People don't play Resident Evil on the desktop. They play on PlayStation.
Well, you can now play on a smartphone.
I'm saying the we gotta cut through the marketing fluff fat. I'm skeptic on this.
No, but you can't deny the performance, and it's possible because they have the
3 nanometer. They have the ecosystem, and they
got
have
developers on board.
Yes,
that's the most important because even Samsung also has the capability as well because they have an AMD to help out with the Exynos. But what games can you use that? None. Nobody's on board. That's the power Apple. They can get the developers on board.
I guess the question I'm gonna ask is whether people are gonna consider Apple as a proper gaming phone. Maybe not with this. I don't know. Maybe with this version, because I have to say this. My kids, they play on Apple Arcade a lot, and Apple Arcade has a lot of quality pick 'em up games for kids and for myself. So sometimes I play 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I think it's great. But I've never seen Apple as a gaming phone selection. So maybe this is going to change. It's going to come when we test it, and we're going to figure it out. We have Raymond, we have Duke and John. They play a lot of games, so let's see if that holds true. Potential wise, I agree. They have the hardware, they have the software control, they have the ecosystem, and it could be huge.
And also, like based on what we've seen on iPhone 14, 14 Plus, when they try the game, right, I think Apple has improved the cooling element of it. So the time when they play extensively, it doesn't feel as warm as the previous iPhone. So there's improvement there. So I think they're taking gaming seriously now.
And I think you'll agree that Apple's software, the iPhone software, iOS, right, is very heavy on managing resources itself. And sometimes when it manages the resource, you yourself don't know whether you're getting maximum performance. The difference is with Android, it overheats because you're pushing the performance all the way. And if you tell the phone, I want 100% performance. I don't care if it's going to kill you. Just give me the performance.
It will deliver.
And it will do that.
Yeah.
With iPhone is, okay, I want 100% performance. iPhone will get, okay, I'm going to give you what feels like 100%. But if I'm going to overheat, I'm going to bring it down. But it's going to feel like 100%.
Yep.
So that's where I'm kind of skeptical. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's great. But, if you are pro level and you want to be able to control all the parameters, you want that option. And as far as I know, Apple does not give you that option. It just tells you, okay, optimize or whatever, and then it will play around those parameters itself.
Yeah, there's no like dedicated game mode kind of thing.
Yeah. Do they have bypass charging? Do you know?
No, definitely not.
I don't know.
Not.
I mean, then it's not a gamer phone, man. For gamer phones need bypass charging.
But I agree with you that it's not designed for the those mobile gamers.
League games,
because you don't have like physical trigger buttons and all that stuff.
And
you don't have like extra cooling and all that.
So that's again my question is that so what I mean, if you can't play it in the league, serious league gamers are saying, hey, you know what, this is really not for me. Speaking of performance and hardware, what I think you will agree with me is that the iPhone is a good media phone. And if you're going with the Pro and the Pro Max version, you're gonna be a content creator.
Yes.
Not the TikToker person, whatever. But this is legit content creators. So iPhones have been running series of videos where they show like legit filmmakers using the iPhone to make like really good content, really good film shows and videos. So I think the 15 Pro and Pro Max will take this to a whole other level.
Yeah, especially cinematic capabilities. And I think until today, if not mistaken, it's still the only device that can record and play back Dolby Vision content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal for content creators.
Yes.
And then they've also now upped the storage. So before you can get a 128 gig Pro Max, a Pro, now it's up to 250. Minimum is 256.
For the Pro Max, 256. Yeah, minimum.
Oh, with the Pro still can get a 128.
Yes.
We are do we get there were rumors about a 2 terabyte iPhone 15.
Yeah, there were actually rumors about it, but no, the maximum is still 1 terabyte. But they did up the storage for iCloud. So iCloud previously was 2 terabytes. I think 2 terabytes was how much was it? 2 terabytes is about 44 ringgit 90 cents per month. 2 terabytes. So they're introducing 6 terabytes and 12 terabytes iCloud storage. And those cost 129 ringgit and 269 ringgit respectively.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. People will go like, "What's 6 terabytes? That's absurd." The thing is, if you're gonna shoot RAW, you're gonna shoot like 4K, what the iPhone Pro Max can shoot, and you're gonna need that.
And not just that, because you know the new Apple Vision Pro. So the iPhone Pros, right, are capable of shooting spatial videos, 3D videos.
Wow.
So that's going to take lots of storage. So yeah, now you got iCloud to support that.
Yeah, so I would say that the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are legit, genuine content creation phones. They're super capable.
Oh, and speaking of content creation, right? Okay, 1 terabyte storage might not be enough, right?
Yeah.
So ideally you want to connect to external storage device, right? So the USB-C on the on the 15 Pro series supports USB 3 speeds up to 10 gigabits per second.
Wow.
So you can actually connect, data transfer can connect an external SSD.
Wow, 10 gig is almost like
10 gigabit per second.
Yeah, that's almost like what you get on a MacBook Pro.
No, those Thunderbolt 4. Thunderbolt 4 is 40 gigabits per second. So this is
almost.
Yeah.
But 10 gigabits is 10 gigabits is a lot.
Yeah.
For a phone to do.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. A lot of people are making noise. Oh, okay, can do 10 gigabits per second, but regardless of whether you get the Pro or the non-Pro, it still give you a USB-C cable that's USB 2.0.
Yay, thank you, Apple.
But for me, it's
so thoughtful.
It's not a big deal because at the end of the day, most people use the cable for the charge. Even the transfer of high speed, right? Let's say for SSD, right? You can use the cable that came with the SSD, which is already supported for the high speed. So not a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of cable and USB-C, the iPhones also support reverse charging.
Yes. So far, what I know is you can use it to reverse charge the new AirPods Pro 2nd gen with USB-C and the Apple Watch. Since the Apple Watch is using USB-C for the charger. For me, it's like, why don't you just make it
wireless?
Reverse wireless charge like other phone makers, can just charge your AirPods. Because AirPods can charge using wireless charging. Just put it back.
Because it's not MagSafe. They're gonna save that for a new update where it supports MagSafe. Trust me.
Reverse MagSafe charging.
Yeah, reverse MagSafe. The technology is already there. They're just not doing it. So it's not like, oh, we can't do it because...
I think this keeping for next year, just in case we run out of ideas. Yeah. So just keep it in the bag.
Reserve. Don't show everything, right?
Yeah.
So
let's start with reverse cable charging first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the phones. The other thing I want to talk about is this ridiculously priced 159 ringgit USB-C lightning dongle cable thing.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, some say that why you need to pay that to use your old cables? Why don't you just buy a new cable, right? USB-C cable, you can get cheaply anyway.
I can buy like 20 cables with 159 ringgit.
Yeah. So actually this dongle, right, is designed for those who need, let's say you invested a lot on
the
iPhone
lightning ecosystem.
Yes, like like lightning-based accessories, right? And now you suddenly got a new iPhone. Well, this adapters for you so that you can use your old lightning-based accessories with the new iPhone 15.
Welcome back dongle life.
Dongle life, yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to use it solely for charging, don't bother with this. Just get a new USB-C cable. Just use any cable that comes with your laptop and other devices.
Yes, USB-C is universal.
And it's not like super high speed. It's only 20 watts, dude. It's just any USB PD cable will do just fine.
Yeah. So don't bother getting the 159 ringgit lightning dongle USB-C thing. Or you can wait. I'm sure Ugreen or McDodo or whatever will come up with something. Yeah. So now the question I want to ask you. So if you're gonna go, if you're gonna, I think now is the time for you to get an iPhone 15 lah. Right? So because you're using what is it again? 12.
11 Pro.
Like okay, so the question was supposed to be which iPhone would you get?
That's pretty obvious already. So if you like I said, like we said earlier, right? If you let's say you need to change your phone, and most likely if you use iPhone already, it will last you quite a long time. If you can afford it, just go for the best that you can afford. Yeah. Because that will last. Yeah. Because no point getting a cheaper one like a smaller storage, and then you need to change. Then maybe 1 or 2 years to say, I should have gotten a bigger storage.
Yeah, don't get small. Get the most storage that you can afford.
Yes, I would recommend at least 256 gigs. At least they can sustain you for the next 4 years, because we're going to do a lot of video shooting, a lot of photos.
And the apps are huge.
Yes, yeah.
It takes a lot of space.
I couldn't even back up my WhatsApp anymore. Yeah. So go for 256 gig if you can. Yeah.
And then you can download streaming content too. So even on YouTube, you can download content, and that takes up gigs of space on your phone.
Yeah, especially now with 5G around, then you're going to be streaming in high quality. Yeah. So try to get 256 gigs.
Right, so that's pretty much it in terms of wrapping up the iPhone 15 special. And let's talk about bottom line is, this is a worthwhile upgrade. But if you're on the 14, don't bother. But if you're looking for a new phone and you're on a budget, maybe you should look for an iPhone 14 that is on sale, because it's still a good buy.
Yep.
But if you want the ultimate, iPhone 15 is worth the upgrade.
Yep. Also, we want to talk about price here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So the iPhone price across the board, right, cost 200 ringgit more than the previous gen at the time of launch. So the iPhone 15 starts at 4399 for 128 gigs. That's 200 ringgit more than last year. The last one, iPhone 14 starts at 4199.
If you go on Zevolution, whatever, 200 ringgit is nothing lah.
Yeah, of course, if you want to pay full retail price, just get it on a contract. And of course, get a plan that you actually use. Don't get a plan that this phone is cheap on this plan, but you don't need so much data, because now a lot of 5G plans they give like 100 over 200 gigs. You don't really need that much.
Yeah, unless you're sharing or hotspotting a lot.
Yeah. Correct. So just be aware of that. So if you're going to stick to a telco for long term, for 2 years, 3 years, just get on a telco contract, because they help to subsidize the cost a lot. And also going back to the Pro, the iPhone 15 Pro starts from 5499. Yeah, for 128 gig. If you want to go to Pro Max, it starts at 6499 with 256 gigs.
Am I weird in saying that 5499 doesn't sound that bad?
Why?
I don't know.
But I think people might say there's a lot to pay for 128 gigs. So some argue that they should just kill the 128 gig, just start with 256 gigs.
Then you gotta pay some more.
Yeah, 599, or just make it as a lower price lah. But then again, our currency is not that great, so yeah. And if you want to get these devices, you can pre-order on Friday, 22nd September, and it will be available in Malaysia on 29th of September.
The top of the that's super fast.
Yeah, it's quite fast. We just 1 week after the first wave country, similar to last year, no mistake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Top of the range, 1 terabyte Pro Max titanium,
8499. Last year was, I think, 8299.
Wow.
Yeah.
8,000 ringgit for a phone, man.
Well, you buy this for content creation, or you're going to make money from making all those awesome videos, right?
8,000 ringgit, right, is the price of a motorcycle. You can go out and buy a motorcycle for that price.
True.
And create content.
But what can you going to shoot your motorbike with?
An Android phone.
Think about it. If you can use this phone and then can last for 5 years, right? That's like less than 2,000 ringgit per year. It's changing a 2,000 ringgit phone every single year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Okay, so no complaints with the iPhone. Actually, can't really find a problem with the 15.
I think they're not really like a huge game changer, but they have a lot of significant upgrades, which I think is more meaningful than what we saw last year in terms of the 13 to 14. I think this has more meaningful upgrades.
Yeah, the biggest thing last year was Dynamic Island.
Yes.
And the new processor, which is not much different. Yeah. It's just upgrade in terms of numbers.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one is a big deal. Don't look at it as like, it looks the same. It can look the same. I mean, there's nothing wrong with how the iPhone looks. Yep. How different do you want a phone to look? Do you want it to be round? I don't know. No. I'm not defending them, but I think let's get our expectations in order here. Okay, yeah, but 8,000 ringgit, man, shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, don't get 1 terabyte, man. I mean, 256, I think it's just nice. And then instead of spending so much on your storage, maybe why not just subscribe to iCloud if you haven't already? Yeah.
Okay. But 1 terabyte, my argument is I'm spoiled. I don't think of what I keep in my phone because I have 1 terabyte of storage.
Well, you don't need to think of so much if you have 2 terabytes of iCloud storage or now 12 terabytes of iCloud storage.
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
you can share with the family.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I'm on Apple One, so
Yep. But so for Apple One, they still offer 2 terabytes. So hopefully they upgrade Apple One as well.
yeah. I think they will, but then they will increase the price.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is my reminder to you all. We are also available on podcasts, so just search for Let's Talk About Sorry Chin Chow, and we're available on where you listen to podcasts. If you are listening to us on podcasts and you like the show, give us a 5-star rating and share it to people who think it might be helpful, because that helps the show a lot. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And most important of all, your comments. We've been ramping up in terms of replying to as many comments as possible on YouTube. So let us know what you think. Let us know what your comments are. Share them. We love to read and understand what you want to know. And we'd love to reply to these comments. Also, we are starting a EV related show. It's coming up soon. We're working on it. I know we've been talking about it, but we're working on it. It's coming. So if you have any questions about EVs, let us know. We'll answer them in our show talking about EVs in Malaysia. And if you are listening to us on podcast, you can also drop us a voice note at
Let's Talk About at soyachincha.com.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
This is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
Catch you guys later. Bye.